Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Councillor Gonda.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. Gentlemen, apparently with your presentation, some of my council colleagues have woken up and realized the urgency of the situation. And now they're interested in getting involved with Green Line conversations and speaking with other members who hold elected office in other orders of government. Some of us have been doing that for years before we ever even got on council as citizen advocates. So I'm thrilled that with your presentation today, all of council is suddenly interested in the Green Line. So thank you for moving that.
So I have a couple questions, so don't go away. The chair can ask questions, but he's got to wait his turn. So there's a saying I use often, and I've been using it and I'll still use it probably the last 6 years. The city must operate like a business. In other words, being efficient, making the right choices, value for money and business cases and all of that. But every now and then, it must behave like a service organization. So I asked for this chart to be put on the screen because I'm having difficulty understanding what you're asking and the rationalization of this chart. Because if we look at any at-grade portion of the Green Line, and it's my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you don't want the Green Line to be stopped. You just want to rethink a portion of the Green Line. And if that's the case, I still don't understand what's wrong with this slide, because what this says
is administration is agreeing and understands the necessity to look at a 4-kilometer, and the only reason it's 4 kilometers is because that's the length of the tunnel, not because it needs to. But if there's a change, and if it was at grade north and it's at grade south, I have real difficulty with your idea of pausing the whole project. Because at grade either south or north, I think you would agree that we know what we're doing. And if this is a service to the city of Calgary, then let's get on with the service. Let's revisit the portion of that service that is giving us grief and quit trying to stop the whole thing. And I'm not saying you're trying to stop the whole thing, but that's what people are. I mean, the telephone is lighting up very well. So I want you to comment and look at this slide in real honest context of what you're asking and say there's nothing wrong. That's my view. I'm saying I'm putting words in your mouth. But there's nothing wrong with this slide, because if we're giving service to our city, then we're already behind. So give the service, but take a pause, take a moment and look at contract 2 and make sure we're doing it right.
Harry? Councillor Keating, clearly we haven't seen this slide before today. So obviously we didn't come into this meeting expecting to address it and expecting to figure out how it fits into our suggestion of a pause. And the pause that we're suggesting, clearly the focus of the pause is on how you get through downtown. That's the big nut for this project. So I don't want to redraft this slide for administration, but I would suggest that what should be done is that the activities that are anticipated on this slide, certainly the contract 2 activities, the center city utilities and the enabling works, that somebody have a look at those activities to determine how those would be impacted by taking a sober look at the project. And Councillor Keating, I will say this, that above grade construction, and I'm getting the message that elevated construction, that those are dirty words, but elevated construction is quicker than below ground construction. So if you're concerned about picking up time, for example, a good way to pick up time is to stay out of the ground.
No, and I appreciate that, and I think that's what I think you said exactly what I was thinking, but in different words and better words. because...
Can I just mention one thing, Councillor? Sure. Don't start till you know what the whole stage one is going to cost. Don't start on an easy part that we can just, that's pretty standard, whatever. Get the scope, get it costed, and get those screwed right down to plus or minus 10%, and then get at it. But don't be sucked into starting an easy thing, and then you end up, well, we'll worry about this downtown thing later. We've got to do it. Look at the whole thing, and then we can get started.
Thank you. Absolutely disagree with you, but that's okay.
Respectfully. We are in the business of giving
and
service.
I should mention that we've had, quite a bit of fun.
Yeah.
We enjoy this. That I mean, we all in this room love the city. And when it was pointed out to me that the only thing in the local newspapers in the last 4 months have been what kind of flowers we're going to plant at the stations, then I thought, folks, we got to get serious. This is the biggest thing we've ever done, and the most complex. We've got to get it right, and it's your responsibility as the transportation to make recommendations based on administration to council, and so you're charged with that. It's a big responsibility.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I guess my parting comment, and I know I was having a discussion with GM Thompson about an analogy, and I've changed it slightly, so I'm still going to use it. You set a budget, you plan your house, but you don't halt until you get the exact color and composition of your kitchen cupboards. And that's what you're asking us to do, is put on hold the whole project because we haven't quite nailed down a portion of the project. Risky portion, and that's why it needs to be rethought, but you don't shut everything down because you don't know whether you're going to use brass or silver taps in the bathroom. But you got to be careful you're in the budget. So thank you very much. Okay. Any other members of the public